Today we're talking with Susan Roberts, who is a new Cladach author. She has written a wonderful devotional book about finding God in everyday places. Susan, greetings and thank you for being with us.
Hello, Kathy.
How did you start this project? Have you always, all your whole life, been looking for God sightings in everyday places?
Well, this kind of came up just out of the blue. I had been involved in a ministry at church that was no longer going on, and so I had been praying about where I should be putting my efforts. And the word right just kept coming to my mind every time I prayed. And I said, God, right what? I have no clue what I'm supposed to be doing. And about 2 years later, I was sitting in our pastor's office. We were talking about my grandson's upcoming baptism service. And he just stopped in a mid-sentence and said, you know, the lady that did our church prayer line fell and broke her hip, and we need someone to do the prayer line. Would you be interested? And I said, well, what does it involve? And he says, oh, you just compile the prayer requests that come in and write a devotional. And the minute he said the word write, it was like bells went off. And I said, this is what God has been wanting me to do.
Well, that's wonderful to hear. Then, as you got started on this, and did you start just watching every place you go? Are you consciously looking for a lesson to share?
Well, this was really a learning process. You know, I started out doing devotions 3 times a week, and, you know, that was okay maybe the first 2 or 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden, oh my goodness, what am I going to write? I just don't have any ideas this morning. And I would get on my knees or read the scriptures, and God would just bring things to mind. Well, since I knew I had to do these 3 devotions a week, I really started looking. And God just started revealing himself to me in the most unlikely places. In the grocery store, taking a walk with our dog, just all kinds of places. And as I was doing this for a while, it kind of trained me to be very observant and look for these kinds of things happening all around me.
I guess then you would say that you have felt the Lord's presence in this whole process.
Oh my goodness, I mean, I could do it without him. I mean, he is certainly the author of this. I'm just the tool in his hand.
What are some of your favorite God sightings? The places you've seen every day, places in your life where you've seen God at work, or things that reveal something about God?
I think the ones that are the most unlikely are my favorites. You know, of course, we see God in nature, and we see God in you know, the beauty of what he's created. But, you know, to see him in a garbage disposal that's clogged, or to see him in a fire extinguisher or a fire alarm that goes off inadvertently, or to see him in just these very weird places, to me, that's just really fun.
It really is. Do you think that God himself, that he wants us to look for him more every day?
Oh, I think so. You know, the Bible tells us that if we seek him, we'll find him. And boy, I tell you, I can tell you that's the truth. If we seek God, he will show us truth that he wants us to have. And it just encourages your spirit to have that kind of dynamic, interactive relationship with God.
Yes. Well, then I think you'd agree that God is just waiting and desiring that we would watch and listen constantly so that he can speak to us, encourage us, give us light on our path. And your devotionals are something that can help us all to do the same thing that you're doing, watching for God in all those places. So well, thank you.
Well, that certainly is my prayer, that people will be inspired not so much by what I have written, but that this will make a real difference in their relationship with God as well.
Thank you very much for being with us.